The controversy surrounding the former Hoosier Desk building in Jasper has raised questions about city consultants. We'll tell you more. Plus, local officials continue to be concerned about funding for roads. And Mark Messmer takes on religious freedom in tonight's legislative update. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We pick up where we left off last night with the debate over the Hoosier Desk building. For some people, it's raising questions about the City of Jasper's use of consultants. Though the Jasper City Council voted yesterday to approve $28,000 in city funding for studying the former Hoosier Desk building, there was much opposition to the idea. Several on the council, including Tom Schmidt, voiced concerns about using public money for private projects. Schmidt discussed those concerns during a telephone conversation with 18 News yesterday.
You got people working hard for their money out here, and then they pay taxes and use it for something like this. They didn't agree with it, and I don't either, because I'm a taxpayer, same as you, and I just don't think it was prudent money or well-spent money at all.
Schmidt was the only council member who voted against funding the Hoosier Desk study. He also raised the idea of having local people do the same work that the consultants are doing.
We have a lot of talent in Jasper and in Dubois County that could go out to the parklands, and I've seen some preliminary things that just local people have done with trees and picnic tables, and they were talking about a little bridge over a little piece of water. It don't take much to figure things like that out to do it. And we need an ingress and egress road. We have an engineer that surely could design that. I just don't understand that they don't get it.
During yesterday's special meeting of the Jasper City Council, Schmidt even went so far as to recommend that City Visions be removed as consultants on projects before they bankrupt the city. Other concerns were expressed by council members Kevin Manley and Earl Schmidt, though those two ended up voting for the bill. Mayor Terry Seitz defended the study as a necessary part of revitalizing the building. He also pointed out that the council voted to fund the downtown riverfront master plan and the conversion of the former Jofco building into workforce housing. Both of those were private projects. Local officials remain concerned with road funding as state lawmakers continue searching for more money. The core of the issue has been a drop in revenues coming from the state's gasoline tax, like we've talked about several times. Dubois County Highway Superintendent Steve Berg says that drop in revenue has left his department very bare bones in terms of its operating budget. Earlier this week, Berg appeared before the Dubois County Council to ask for needed funds to replace equipment. He says that $200,000 would have been available had there been enough state funding to keep his department running efficiently. Berg says fuel-efficient vehicles are also a cause of the problem. Though he doesn't blame people for wanting more fuel-efficient vehicles, he says it does cause issues as the state road funding formula is currently based off of how much gasoline is sold in Indiana every year. Berg says the lost revenue makes it harder to combat an increase in expenses.
As those revenues go down, equipment costs keep going up, asphalt, just a lot of our costs are going up all the time. And it makes it harder because we're getting hit on both ends with reduced revenues and increased costs. It just that makes it a whole lot less that we can do with that money.
Now, Indiana's gas tax revenue for last year came in at $527 million. That's down $55 million in a decade. Berg says he's got an idea on how to fix the issues.
We talked about possibly indexing the gas tax, where that would be an inflationary thing built in, whereas as the price goes up, that helps kind of offset. When the price goes up, people are going to buy less gas. Well, then it would offset those revenues lost by that indexing type of thing.
Berg says he has discussed the idea with state legislators, though no fixes are set in stone at this point. Now, County Council President Greg Kendall says the county is doing its best to help out as it can.
I'm proud of our council and commissioners and highway department for working as hard as they do to keep the roads as good as they are. We can't overkill, we can't overspend our monies, but we're going to give the highway department everything we can to keep DuBois County #1 with roads.
Now, the problems with gasoline tax revenues are also pervasive at the federal level. Indiana's share of funding from the Federal Highway Trust Fund dropped to $946 million in 2013. That's a drop of 5% from the levels in 2008. And finally tonight, many of you dealt with high waters and flooding as you were out driving. A deluge of rain hit the area overnight and continued through most of the day today. Emergency personnel were kept busy throughout the day as drivers got stuck in their vehicles when they tried to go through floodwaters. Never a good idea, by the way. The most notable incident happened at the 67.5-mile marker along Interstate 64 near the DuBois and Perry County lines. Indiana State Troopers and Ferdinand firefighters were called to the area after a pair of trucks were forced off of the roadway by floodwaters. The drivers were eventually rescued from their trucks. Now, as we speak this evening, the rain is finally tapering off, and the rest of our Easter weekend is expected to be a nice one. Our thanks to the DuBois County Sheriff's Department and Sergeant Philip Hensley with the Indiana State Police Jasper Post for the photos that you have just seen. All right, coming up after the break, more on your Easter weekend forecast, and later on, Mark Messmer discusses RFRA and tells us what could have been handled differently. We're back after this.